The battle raged fiercely as Weeping Soul unleashed her spirit domain, encasing herself and Han Li in a protective barrier of dark red light. The oppressive forces of the Grey Realm faded away, and Han Li descended toward the karmic fire crater with Weeping Soul, mindful of the looming dangers. "Stay vigilant, Master," she warned as the fiery depths beckoned. But their flight was interrupted as Su Liu, brandishing his axe and mace, descended upon them. His metallic body hummed with ominous power, the black karmic fire inside him swirling like an unholy force. With a flash of his golden sword, Han Li met Su Liu's onslaught, their weapons clashing in a violent explosion of lightning and flames. The forces were evenly matched, but Su Liu soon pressed forward, his mace delivering a crushing blow that sent Han Li hurtling into the fiery depths below. "Not so fast!" Gaimu's voice echoed from above as his dark tendrils reached down into the crater, sending black vines to ensnare the two. Infernal servants and puppets followed, lashing out in unison with their weapons. As the black net grew tighter, Han Li retrieved a green gourd from his sleeve and channeled its power, sending a wave of golden sword light to break through the net's constricting grip. The net trembled but held firm, its form infused with dark energy. Gaimu appeared, his grey mist clouding the area as the net solidified around them. A vicious black vine reached for Han Li's sword, but Weeping Soul intervened, unleashing red chains to strike down Su Liu. Han Li fought back with the gourd, its power crackling as it severed the ghost vines threatening his sword. Gaimu sneered, recognizing the gourd's potential, but the battle continued unabated. Weeping Soul, growing wary, confessed her limits against the soulless puppets, while Han Li pondered his options. In a sudden shift, Mo Guang's voice rang in Han Li's mind, offering his assistance in exchange for the dissolution of their Heavenly Devil contract. With little choice, Han Li agreed, and Mo Guang emerged in a flash of silver, now radiating a focused, powerful aura. The once indifferent Mo Guang now stood in defiance, his strength swelling to the late high zenith stage. With a roar, he summoned the karmic fire into a fiery tornado, blasting toward Gaimu as he shattered the black net with a wave of his hand. Han Li, with Weeping Soul by his side, hesitated only a moment before heading toward the karmic fire passageway, offering a final salute to Mo Guang as he took on the formidable Gaimu. As Han Li and Weeping Soul prepared to enter the passageway, a shadow fell upon them once more, Su Liu. With a roar, he swung his axe, releasing a torrent of axe projections. Han Li raised his sword to strike, yet before he could act, Su Liu was frozen in place, his body locked in midair, and the axe projections suspended like shards of frozen lightning. Han Li peered closer, his eyes narrowing as he noticed dark mist pouring from Su Liu's mouth and nostrils, and a black cloud coiling around his chest, halting the metal ball in from turning. "Master, let's go," Weeping Soul urged, pulling Han Li into the karmic fire passageway. In the blink of an eye, the air around them shifted as dark vines of ghostly black surged past Mo Guang, enveloping the entrance. The mountain shook, rocks falling like rain, burying the very path they had come through. The tremors echoed in their ears, but there was no time to look back. They flew forward, deep into the passageway. The space narrowed as they advanced, intensifying the karmic fire that surrounded them. A suffocating surge of baleful chi flooded Weeping Soul's spirit domain, like needles driving into Han Li's mind. His teeth ground together, struggling to suppress the chaos within, but a burning wave of fury began to rise, clouding his thoughts with frustration. Weeping Soul's dark red light brightened as she pushed forward, sensing Han Li's distress. Yet, the deeper they went, the thicker the karmic fire became, and the baleful chi pressed harder on their minds, amplifying Han Li's pain. The closer we get to the soul cleansing area, the purer and more intense the karmic fire will be. I must focus on controlling my spirit domain. "You must look after yourself, Master," Weeping Soul warned. "I'll be fine," Han Li rasped, though his voice betrayed the strain. Despite channeling his spirit refinement technique with all his might, his mind grew foggy, his heart pounding with increasing intensity. The baleful chi in his immortal acupoint stirred violently, and countless blood-red figures filled his consciousness, rushing about like spectres on a battlefield. A sickly sweet stench of blood assaulted him, threatening to drive him to madness. "We're almost there, Master, just a bit longer," Weeping Soul urged, her concern evident. But Hunley's vision blurred, his pupils turning a dull grey. The baleful chi surged within him, his spirit nearly breaking under its pressure. If not for the previous damage from the infernal soul bug, he might have been able to resist, but now his consciousness was slipping away. Then a glimmer of red light appeared before his eyes. Weeping Soul pressed a small, glowing red bead to his forehead. The bead, warm to the touch, contained the image of the Weeping Soul beast. Gentle soul power radiated from it, calming Hunley's troubled mind, dispersing the chaotic crimson figures and restoring his senses. As the baleful chi retreated, Hunley's focus returned, though he noticed Weeping Soul's pale face. "Are you all right?" he asked, his voice hoarse. "I'm fine. The bead contains my soul essence. I'll be fine once it returns to my body." Weeping Soul reassured him, though her tone was weak. With his mind stabilized, Hunley focused once more on fortifying his spiritual sense. The passageway was nearly at an end. They emerged into an enormous underground karmic fire lake, hovering above its waters as they surveyed the area. The roof above was dark and filled with glittering stalactites, while towering stone pillars surrounded the lake, leading to the far edges where paths connected to the mountain faces. The entire place resembled an enormous cavernous palace. Strangely, there were no infernal tribe forces awaiting them. "It seems Guimu didn't alert the soul-cleansing area to our arrival," Hunley observed. The karmic fire passageway collapsed, so even without Guimu's warning, "Elder Yinshu can't be far," Weeping Soul replied with a furrowed brow. Suddenly, faint voices drifted from one of the caves. Hunley and Weeping Soul quickly moved to a nearby embankment, concealed their presence within a cave. From there, they observed two children of the infernal tribe emerge, twins clad in identical black robes. They conversed briefly, revealing their youth and cultivation progress as they sat by the karmic fire lake, performing strange hand seals and drawing in baleful chi. At just 10 years old, they're nearing the core formation stage and can safely cultivate near karmic fire. "The infernal beings truly are terrifying," Hunley remarked. "Indeed, their aptitude is superior, though these two are only average for their kind," Weeping Soul noted. Hunley and Weeping Soul retreated further into the cave. Hunley then conjured a silver door with a sweep of his sleeve. Inside the bamboo pavilion, Shi Chuankong and the others stood, except for Immortal Lord Hot Flame, bound by chains of silver light and muted by a purple talisman. Chi Rong looked on with concern, and when Hunley inquired about Hot Flame, Bai Lian explained that the elder had succumbed to baleful chi corruption, his foundation nearly destroyed. "We are in the soul cleansing area now, the most mysterious part of Asura City. Weeping Soul hasn't visited often, it's not on our map. We must find the baleful cleansing pond. Does anyone have any ideas?" Hunley asked. "Shouldn't we just grab those two children and soul search them?" "Okay," Shi Chuankong suggested. "We can't risk alerting anyone by harming them." "We don't know what protections are in place," Bai Lian replied. Just as Hunley was about to respond, his face froze in shock. Weeping Soul rushed to his side, her expression anxious. Everyone else turned to him, their concern mounting. "Where is Mo Guang?" Shi Chuankong asked. "My spiritual connection with Mo Guang has been severed. I can't sense him anymore," Hunley said grimly. A stunned silence followed. "Could he have met his end?" Fox 3 asked, disbelief in her tone. "He held off Guimu for me. Whether he lives or dies, he kept his promise," Hunley replied quietly, and the room fell into an uneasy silence. Hunley's words rang with urgency as he warned. "Guimu knows we've escaped, and with my connection severed to fellow Taoist Mo Guang, we must hasten to the baleful cleansing pond." Shi Chuankong, his resolve steely, declared, "In that case, we need not fear exposure. I shall probe the souls of those two infernal children right away." With that, he vanished from view, leaving Hunley and the others to continue their journey toward the cave entrance. The children remained unaware of the looming danger as they meditated by the karmic fire lake. In the blink of an eye, Shi Chuankong materialized behind them, his hand outstretched toward their necks. But before his strike could land, a flash of movement caught everyone's attention. Weeping Soul, with swift grace, appeared behind Shi Chuankong, her hand glowing red as she raised it to strike at him. Her attack, however, was thwarted as Shi Chuankong was sent tumbling across the ground, crashing into a distant mountain face. A shadow had clung to his back, a target of Weeping Soul's failed strike. She unleashed a red chain from her sleeve, a snake-like force that attempted to ensnare the grey shadow, but the shadow detached, warily floating to the side. The two infernal children, momentarily startled, quickly retreated behind the shadow, which then coalesced into a sinister being, an infernal figure, pale as death, with a hooked nose. "Yuluo, what is this treachery?" he screeched. Weeping Soul's voice, cold as ice, replied, "I owe you no explanation, Yin Xiao." She communicated to Han Li and the others, her voice laced with caution. "This one is a master of shadow illusions, a high zenith stage cultivator. His concealment abilities are unparalleled. Stay alert. Time is short, everyone. Attack now. Let us finish this swiftly," Han Li ordered, a grim expression overtaking his features. Weeping Soul responded with a flurry of red chains, weaving them toward Yin Xiao, but the infernal being merely sneered, advancing despite the chains piercing his form. He rippled as though a disturbance had torn through him, the chains passing harmlessly through his body before embedding into the ground with an ominous clang. He surged forward at an alarming speed, his hand raised to strike Weeping Soul with a grey vortex of destructive force. Weeping Soul's chains, ensnared in the ground, refused to yield, and panic flickered in her eyes. But before the grey palm could crush her, she revealed a hidden demonic eye within her brow. Unleashing a torrent of dark red light, the soul-shattering strike hit Yin Xiao, who reeled, his balance undone. At that instant, Han Li appeared behind him, his sword crackling with golden lightning. The strike aimed for Yin Xiao's head, but the fiend narrowly dodged, revealing a second face on the back of his head, confirming Han Li's suspicion of multiple forms. "I knew there were more," Yin Xiao sneered, splitting into two beings, one of which lunged for Han Li with a dagger aimed for his throat. But Han Li was prepared. His mantra treasured axis flared with golden light, its ripples slowing Yin Xiao's strike to a crawl. Seizing the opportunity, Han Li grabbed the infernal being by the throat, driving his sword deep into his head. Yet as the blade sank, Han Li felt a surge of unease. Another Yin Xiao emerged from his lower abdomen, the dagger aimed at Han Li's dantian. In a cruel twist, the blade pierced Han Li, sending a wave of pain through him. Yin Xiao grinned sadistically, dragging the blade upwards, unleashing baleful qi to cleave Han Li in two. But Han Li's voice echoed nearby, "Fellow Taoist Qi, are you ready?" "I am," came the strained response, as Shi Chuankong pressed his hands to a silver lute, a surge of spatial force coiling around Yin Xiao. Han Li seized the moment, his sword slicing through the fiend's chest as the spatial compression rendered him immobile. A black dragon claw descended from above, aiming to crush Yin Xiao's head. But Han Li halted the assault with a commanding cry. "Wait!" He summoned azure bamboo cloudswarm swords, each imbued with divine devilbane lightning, to pierce Yin Xiao's acupoints, ravaging his body. Yin Xiao howled in agony as Shi Chuankong, having suffered backlash from his earlier exertions, finally released a deep breath. Even as the fiend's body crumpled, Bai Liyan, on high alert, tightened his grip on Yin Xiao's head. Weeping Soul stepped forward, offering Han Li a moment's respite. "You overextended yourself earlier. Let me handle the soul search," she suggested. Han Li nodded, and with a touch to her glabella, Weeping Soul summoned her demonic eye once more. A burst of dark red light swept across Yin Xiao and the infernal children, drawing out their souls. The two children awoke momentarily, their gazes vacant and lifeless, but soon collapsed again. "Did you learn anything?" Han Li inquired. "The baleful cleansing pond, a sacred place to the infernal tribe," Weeping Soul responded. "These children have yet to undergo their baptism, and thus are not true infernal beings. Yin Xiao resisted my soul search, but I gleaned the layout of the soul cleansing area." "That will suffice," Han Li nodded, "and now we have no further use for him." Bai Liyan, without hesitation, crushed Yin Xiao's skull in his powerful claws. "No!" Weeping Soul exclaimed, but it was too late. Han Li and Bai Liyan turned to her in surprise, and it became clear that while Weeping Soul had aided them, her ties to the infernal regional monarch ran deep, her loyalty not easily shaken. A deep sigh escaped Han Li's lips as he spoke. "Fellow Taoist Bailey, please avoid killing infernal beings unless necessary." "I understand. My apologies, fellow Taoist Weeping Soul," Bai Liyan responded, offering a fist salute. Weeping Soul simply nodded silently in acknowledgement. "Fox 3, holding two unconscious infernal children, asked, "What should we do with them?" Before Weeping Soul could answer, Hanli spoke with a glint in his eye. "I'll store them in my domain treasure for now. The presence of a peak, high zenith stage protector indicates they are no ordinary children. They may be useful leverage later." A silver door of light appeared as he waved his sleeve, and Fox 3 tossed the children into the bamboo structure. Just as Hanli was about to close the door, his expression shifted. "Gimu is coming!" he exclaimed urgently. With a swift motion, the door of silver light shut, and Weeping Soul led them deeper into the cave they had been hiding in. The path sloped upwards, leading to a fork. After a brief pause, Weeping Soul directed them left. As they moved, a thick cloud of baleful chi suddenly burst from another cave by the karmic fire lake, coalescing into the figure of Gimu. He left his puppets and infernal servants behind as he entered the soul-cleansing area, accompanied by his white furry beast. Spotting the headless body of Yin Xiao, his rage exploded like a volcano. His aura surged violently, shaking the karmic fire lake as pillars of flames shot up. "They've killed Yin Xiao and taken the ceremonial children." Gimu's voice trembled with fury. "I'll crush them and use their bodies to fertilize my ghost vines. Find them!" he roared, tossing the furry white beast to the ground. Though hurt, the beast sniffed the air and began pointing toward the cave. Hanli's group had entered. Sending a ripple of energy through the surroundings, Gimu praised it, his rage momentarily tempered as he gently petted the creature before shooting forward as black mist. Meanwhile, Hanli and the others hastened through the labyrinthine tunnels, following Weeping Soul's lead. The terrain was a chaotic mess of twisting paths, and soon they reached a dead end. Shi Chuankong's anxious voice broke the tension. "Why the dead end?" Weeping Soul's response was swift as she crashed into the mountain face before them. The false wall slid away, revealing an opening into a large underground hall. They had barely set foot inside when a shout rang out. "There they are! Elder Yin Fu!" A group of infernal tribe cultivators appeared, led by a peak high zenith stage elder. Hanli's voice cut through the air. "We can't waste time here," Guimu's close behind. With that, he darted toward a passage across the hall, his companions following closely behind. The infernal pursuers immediately gave chase, but Bai Lian's sly grin preceded a quick toss of black balls. The moment they hit the ground, explosions shook the hall, black flames erupting in all directions and creating a storm of fire that engulfed the enemies. The shockwaves rattled Hanli and his group, but they were far enough to avoid the worst of it. The pursuing infernal beings fared much worse, reeling from the explosion's power. The sound of rumbling echoed through the hall for what seemed like an eternity. Just as Hanli's group emerged from the hall, another figure appeared from a side passage, a thin man in black robes. Elderly in appearance, yet emanating the powerful presence of a mid-great encompassment cultivator, hovered above the chaos. It was Yin Shu, stationed in the soul-cleansing area. Looking down at the chaos caused by the explosion, he was livid. "Did you intercept them, Elder Yin Shu?" Gimu demanded as he emerged from the tunnel. "No, I was too late," Yin Shu grunted coldly. His words stung, and Gimu, unable to reprimand the elder, took responsibility. "They killed Yin Xiao and abducted the ceremonial children," Gimu confessed, and the news shocked Yin Shu. "How could you fail so completely?" he scolded. Gimu quickly explained the betrayal of Yuluo, which had allowed Hanli's group to escape from the infernal prison. Yin Shu's anger boiled over. "Yuluo betrayed us? Where is Yin Guo?" "He's recovering from manifesting infernal soul bugs, but has been notified. He'll be here soon," Guimu explained. "This is madness." Yin Shu spat. "If the regional monarch learns of the ceremonial children, we're doomed." "We can't report this to the monarch, Elder Yin Shu," Guimu pleaded. "If we do, I'll be turned into a puppet." "We'll catch them before anyone finds out," Yin Shu said, and with that the two sped off, vanishing into the distance. Meanwhile, Weeping Soul guided the group toward another downward-sloping tunnel. Hanli glanced back with alarm. The tunnel had vanished, consumed by darkness, and a massive shadow was rolling toward them, filling the passage. "This is bad! Elder Yin Shu is pursuing us!" Weeping Soul cried out in panic. The black shadow surged forward, gaining on them swiftly. Hanli could feel the terrifying power radiating from it. This was no force they could face head-on. Clenching his teeth, Han Li activated his reversal true axis and surged forward at a remarkable pace, pulling his companions with him in bursts of azure light. They flew into another tunnel, and just as they landed, Han Li took in the surroundings. They had arrived in a vast underground cave, over 100,000 feet wide, with a large white plaza and strange palaces ahead. What is this place, and why is it sealed? It's a place from Yin Xiao's memories. It's an important location even to the regional monarch, and entry is strictly forbidden, Weeping Soul explained. The tension in the air was palpable as Han Li's eyes widened with alarm. Yin Shu and Guimu are gaining on us, he cried out, urgency lacing his voice. Bailey Yan, gritting his teeth, spat. We can't keep running. It's time to face them head on. Shi Chuankong sighed, his tone heavy. I can teleport us once more, but it won't give us much of a lead. We're likely to fall here, but it's our only option, Fox 3 said grimly. Han Li's gaze sharpened. Hold on. Yin Chengquan forbade battle nearby, so this place is important. Let's take refuge in the palace for now. Weeping Soul's eyes lit up, and the others nodded in agreement. Swiftly, they made for the palace gates. As they approached, they saw the imposing gates, engraved with intricate reliefs. On one side, bones and skulls were stacked in a macabre display, with a male infernal figure seated atop a throne of bones, a scythe resting in his hands. On the other, a massive beast with swirling smoke and a horned head seemed poised to devour the world. Breaking this array will take time, Shi Chuankong observed, his brow furrowed in concentration. We don't have that luxury, Han Li said, his expression dark. In a flash of dark red light, a black saber materialized in his hands, its twin fox head guard catching Fox 3's gaze, leaving him momentarily stunned. But Han Li's focus was unwavering as he contacted Shi Qingho. We need help to break this restriction. Please, lend me your strength. Shi Qingho's voice was tinged with caution. Are you sure? What's sealed here may be far too dangerous. If we do nothing, we die at their hands. We have no choice, Han Li replied, determination in his tone. Very well. Strike the array with all your might and I'll assist you, Shi Qingho agreed. With a deep breath, Han Li gripped the saber with both hands, raising it high. His aura surged, causing the very air around him to tremble. Shi Chuankong and the others instinctively retreated, while Fox 3's confusion deepened. Suddenly, crimson light blazed from the twin fox heads on the saber, and dark red light coiled around its blade. As Han Li's aura swelled, shockwaves rippled through the underground cavern. At that moment, Yin Shu and Guimu, cloaked in black mist, charged into the tunnel. They're trying to break the array, Yin Shu exclaimed. The air crackled as Han Li swung the saber down, the impact sending a thunderous shockwave through the space. A colossal saber projection, bathed in crimson light, collided with the light barrier, accompanied by a chilling image of a two-headed white fox grinning at their foes. Dark red lightning erupted, forming a barrier that shielded Han Li's group from the blast. We did it! Shi Chuankong shouted in relief, witnessing a massive gash form in the barrier. Fox 3 urged them forward. Hurry! Exhausted from the effort, Han Li was supported by Bailey Yan and Weeping Soul, and together they passed through the crack in the barrier. Yin Shu and Guimu, enraged, tried to follow, but the lightning shield held them back, helplessly watching as their quarry escaped into the palace. By the time the lightning barrier faded, the gate closed behind them. Frantic, Yin Shu and Guimu attempted to breach the barrier with a black badge, its ghostly engraving glowing with malicious energy. With their combined effort, a small opening appeared, and they pursued Han Li and his group into the depths of the palace. However, they found no trace of fugitives, their search proving fruitless. They vanished, Guimu muttered, frustration evident. Yin Shu's face darkened. We cannot report this. If the regional monarch finds out, we're as good as dead. But if they stir up trouble here, Guimu began. Stop worrying, Yin Shu interrupted, a sneer curling his lips. This array is powerful. They've only cornered themselves. We just need to capture them. Reluctantly, Guimu nodded and the two pressed onward. The palace was dimly lit, its oppressive atmosphere thickening as they ventured deeper. No signs of their quarry, no energy fluctuations, only silence greeted them. The chase had only just begun.